Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's DinaKalmeta here, and for today's show, it being Bible Prophecy Wednesday, I'd like to talk about the days of Noah. And we're not going to go into the very specifics of recent headlines due to the fact that this show is on YouTube. It will also be posted on Rumble, but there are just some topics I can't discuss here on YouTube. But I would like to talk about the other signs as it relates to the days of Noah and why it's important to be watching. And then we're going to talk about the added measure of surveillance that we have been seeing as of recently. And just as an FYI, you guys, this is a pre-recorded message. I won't be in the office on Wednesday, which is today. Otherwise, I would be bringing you some breaking news. But stay tuned for that tomorrow. I will be bringing you guys the latest in breaking news headlines on Thursday. But for today, this is still a very important show that I believe that people need to be aware of and to prepare. Okay, so are you ready? Let's get started. When Jesus' disciples asked him what the signs of his return would be, Jesus gave a detailed list recorded in Matthew 24 and Luke 21. He stated that there would be wars and rumors of wars, distress of nations, and lawlessness. These days, Jesus described to be like the days of Noah. So we see in Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 and 11, that in that time before the flood, God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The earth was also corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Is the earth once again being filled with violence? I think at this point we can say definitely yes. Because you guys, it's not just the wars and rumors of wars. It is the barbaric massacres of innocent people that has taken place in the United States with Christians, the assassination attempts on elected officials, the anti-Semitism, the violent riots. I would say at this point, we can say that the days of Noah are here. But there's more to the days of Noah. It's not just the lawlessness. The days of Noah during that time had Nephilim walking on the earth. So what are the Nephilim? Well, in Genesis 6, we read of a strange and disturbing time when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and they bore children to them. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. These children were the Nephilim, mysterious hybrid beings who were mighty men, men of renown. While scholars debate the exact identity of the sons of God, the view is that they were fallen angels who transgressed their boundaries, resulting in a corrupted human race. Jesus offered a chilling comparison in the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 37. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. This comparison begs a sobering question. If the world before the flood was marked by genetic corruption and hybrid entities, could we be heading toward a similar scenario today? With CRISPR, synthetic biology, or other advanced genetic engineering technologies at our fingertips, we are now able to manipulate DNA in ways unimaginable just decades ago. While these breakthroughs offer promising medical benefits, they also raise profound moral and theological concerns, especially when viewed through a prophetic lens. So Genesis 6 describes not only extreme violence and wickedness, but also the profound corruption of human flesh. The book of Enoch shed more light on this corruption, describing how fallen angels taught humans forbidden knowledge, including weaponry, enchantments, astrology, and the manipulation of genetics. According to Enoch chapter 7, verse 2, the offspring, and let me just say this, Enoch is not in the Bible, you guys, the Holy Bible, but it is a book that many claim should be in the Bible, and it references things that are in the Bible, particularly these Nephilim. So just an FYI there. And you can get the book of Enoch anywhere online. And Enoch was a man that walked with God, and then God took him. So he was the first person to be raptured. So just keep that in mind. But it goes on to say, according to Enoch chapter 7, verse 2, the offspring of these unions were giants who consumed all the acquisitions of men, unleashing destruction upon the earth. The flood wasn't just about cleansing moral wickedness. It was also about preserving the integrity of God's creation, especially the human genome. Noah is described as blameless in his generations, a phrase many believe refers to his uncontaminated lineage, not merely his moral character. So when Jesus likens the last days to the days of Noah, he isn't merely pointing to general wickedness or moral decay, though those are certainly present right now. He is referencing a time of spiritual and genetic rebellion, when boundaries between human and non-human were blurred. Consider what we see today. Genetically modified embryos are being created and destroyed in laboratories. Human-animal chimeras are being developed for organ harvesting. Gene editing technologies are being used to enhance human traits, raising the specter of designer babies, super soldiers, and possibly even post-human entities. These developments raise a critical question. Are we opening a door once sealed by God after the flood? If the Nephilim were a product of angelic human hybridization in Genesis 6, then our modern scientific pursuits may be ushering in a return of those hybrid beings, not through supernatural union, as it were in the book of Genesis, but through technological sorcery. So, just briefly, CRISPR Cas9 is a gene editing tool that allows scientists to cut and paste sections of DNA with extreme precision. While originally hailed as a cure for genetic diseases, CRISPR has quickly expanded into areas of genetic enhancement and embryonic modification. In 2018, a Chinese scientist shocked the world by announcing the birth of the first CRISPR-edited babies, sparking an international outcry. So what about hybrid beings and transhumanism? Are these echoes of the Nephilim as well? Well, the Nephilim were hybrids, part divine, part human. Today's scientists envision a future of transhumans, beings who are part human, part machine, or genetically enhanced beyond what God intended. The transhumanist movement openly advocates for the next step in evolution, a post-human future where our biology is no longer a limitation but a canvas for recreation. Even secular voices are alarmed. Elon Musk has warned of the dangers of AI-human symbiosis. Yuval Noah Harari has famously described humans as hackable animals. In his worldview, free will is an illusion and the future belongs to those who control the genome and the algorithm. Could it be that we are recreating the very conditions that led to the flood? Could hybrid beings return? Not through angelic rebellion, but through technological apostasy. So what are the prophetic implications? Daniel chapter 12 verse 4 says that knowledge will increase in the last days. Revelation describes a beast system marked by global control, advanced image making, and the mark that changes humanity's destiny. Revelation chapter 13 verses 16 through 17. Could the mark of the beast involve genetic manipulation? Some prophecy teachers speculate that it may include biometric or genetic encoding, something that alters not just one's ability to buy or sell, but one's very identity. If the Nephilim were irredeemable because they were no longer fully human, then is it possible that those who take the mark in the future could be permanently altered, disqualifying themselves from salvation, as we see in Revelation chapter 14, verses 9 through 11? In fact, what does that verse exactly say? And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, because remember, the mark of the beast is going to be either on the forehead or on the right hand. Okay? Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment extended up forever and ever, and they shall have no rest, day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So anybody who takes this mark during the tribulation period to buy or sell will be disqualified from heaven forever. And not just disqualified, but the verse says right here, they will be tormented forever and ever. They will have no rest. They will have the wrath of God poured out upon them without mixture. In other words, pure wrath of God poured out on these people who take this mark or worship the image of the beast. They will be tormented with fire and brimstone. So I think I made that clear, that you don't want to take the mark of the beast. But this concept fits with Satan's strategy to corrupt the image of God, replacing it with corrupted DNA, As in the days of Noah, humanity is being lured into a grand deception, a future where salvation is redefined and humanity is re-engineered. As watchmen, we sound the alarm. We must warn others that science without God becomes sorcery. The human enhancement without divine boundaries becomes rebellion. And that technology divorced from truth leads to deception. We are called to resist the Nephilim spirit of this age, whether it comes in the form of fallen angels, genetic hybrids, or AI entities mimicking life. As Paul warned in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, a great deception is coming, one that will include lying signs and wonders. Our safeguard is in the truth of God's word. Our hope is in the return of Christ, and our strength is in the Holy Spirit. And that piece was written from Joe Hawkins of Prophecy Recon. I encourage you guys to go over there, check out their articles, read their news, and I'll leave a link for you in the description below this video. So in conclusion to this first half, we are absolutely living in the days of Noah. So again, what does that mean? Jesus said, just as it were in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. In other words, Jesus coming soon equals rapture. So that's just one more sign. Although the rapture doesn't need any signs because it's imminent, still Jesus has given us his word to rely upon to watch the signs. And this, with the genes splitting and splicing and the corruption of the DNA, is another sign. The violence on the earth is another sign. Lawlessness, another sign. Wars and rumors of wars, another sign. You get my point. And with that said, these are biblical times. But let's move on. Prophecy Newswatch posted an article in regards to the digital IDs to travel. And I can relate to this completely because I'm getting on a plane here soon in the fall, and I have to update my driver's license in order to get on that plane. I won't be able to get on a plane without it. And I'm sure a lot of you had to go through the same thing. And they're saying right here, which is the truth, you'll need digital ID to travel. And then the headline says, then to live. Apple's WWDC 2025 announcement barely caused a ripple in mainstream headlines. Yet buried in their list of exciting new features was a quiet bombshell. iOS 26 will soon allow users to store digital passport IDs in Apple Wallet. What sounds like a nifty travel perk is in fact a giant leap toward a future where digital identification isn't just helpful, it's required. First for flights, then for logging into websites. Eventually, for participating in society at all. This isn't just a convenience update, it's a warning shot. The Transportation Security Administration has confirmed it will begin accepting these digital passports at domestic checkpoints, making biometric and device-based identification a new standard for travel. Apple emphasizes that this feature is not a replacement for your physical passport. Well, not yet, anyway. But the trajectory is clear. What begins as a helpful tool for airports is being positioned as the new foundation for proving who you are everywhere. And that's a problem, you guys. The slippery slope. This is part of a wider global push. Apple is already rolling out mobile driver's license across numerous states. Similar programs are underway in Europe, Canada, and parts of Asia. Governments and corporations are teaming up to turn your phone into a wallet, your keys, and now your identity. What they call seamless access, many experts are beginning to call seamless surveillance. Once embedded in our daily routines, digital IDs don't stop at airports or banking apps. They move into healthcare, education, employment, online logins, even access to news and social media. Some jurisdictions are already testing these boundaries. And the United Nations has floated proposals to link digital ID systems to internet access itself, a supposed solution to stop AI-powered impersonators and disinformation. They call it proof of personhood. But what it really proves is that your right to exist in the digital world may soon be contingent on state-sanctioned credentials. We've seen this pattern before. Tech promises ease. It delivers frictionless interactions and smart features. But once we're hooked, the terms change. Credit cards become chip cards. Chip cards become tap to pay. Now, even to carry a physical card seems outdated when your phone can do everything. Digital ID will follow the same pattern from optional to expected, then from expected to enforced. And when enforcement arrives, it will be subtly at first. They'll say, for your safety, to protect against fraud, to stop bots and deep fakes. You'll need your digital ID to prove you're real. Not just at airports, but on message boards, Zoom calls, even job applications. Can't verify? No access. Soon, anonymity online, already endangered, will be outlawed entirely under the banner of security. But security for whom? So, the idea that you'll need a digital ID to fly may seem reasonable to some. But think forward a few years, maybe not even a few years at this point. What happens when your digital identity becomes the access point for every major part of your life? Want to post an opinion online? Log in with your verified ID. Want to read an article on a sensitive topic? Prove your age and location. Want to make a donation to a political or religious cause? The system will log it. Do you want to attend church, buy groceries, or get medical care during a state of emergency? Your digital ID determines your permissions. And in some nations, digital ID has already been used to track political dissent. In others, it's tied to, I can't say that word here on YouTube, but I'll say it on Rumble, or credit history. The potential for abuse isn't theoretical. It's happening. What Apple and the TSA are normalizing now is just the American version, softened through design and smooth marketing. The tech becomes the gatekeeper. The most alarming part of this digital transformation is not the technology. It's a consolidation of power. With digital ID systems, a few corporations and government agencies become the ultimate gatekeepers of access to travel, to commerce, to information, to community. And make no mistake, once that infrastructure is built, it won't just be used for good. It will be exploited. It always is. The truth is, you may soon need a digital ID not just to travel, but to live. And this isn't a but or an if, but when, you guys. Again, this is a system that will be used with the mark of the beast in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. So this surveillance that they're doing right now, that this is kind of the beginning stages of it, is going to graduate into the mark of the beast. And you have to remember too, you guys, because once the rapture happens, the rapture is the next event on the prophetic calendar, okay? So once that happens, a lot of people are just going to go completely missing from the earth, vanished right before your very eyes. So there are going to be people, I am sure, that will be using their IDs of the people that were raptured. They're going to go through their homes. They're going to try to take their identities. So it's reasonable to think, this is an evil, what they're doing, but it's reasonable to think that make people not only to take the mark, but to keep track of everybody, because there are going to be so many people that will be vanished off the face of the earth. And here's another very interesting article from Reclaim the Net. Apparently, Russia is to mandate state-backed digital ID app on all devices. Under a new mandate set to take effect in September 2025, all smartphones, tablets, and similar devices sold in Russia will be required to come preloaded with a state-backed digital identity platform. This is an all-in-one application that is designed to consolidate government services, financial tools, messaging, and digital identification into a single interface, significantly expanding the role of state-linked software in everyday life. The Russian State Duma passed the enabling legislation just last week, outlining plans to consolidate public sector utilities and commercial services within the new platform. It goes on further to report that the government's vision for the platform extends far beyond basic communication. Individuals would be able to verify their age at retail locations, check into accommodations, access student discounts, and prove eligibility for social services, all without needing physical documentation. How soon will it be before we see this in the UK, the United States, maybe Israel, all over the world. What about China, India? This is something that is going to expand. Absolutely. So that's what I have for you guys today. Please do leave your comments below this video. I'd love to hear from all of you. When you have some time, come and visit us on our social media pages as well as our website at www.cww7news.com. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, stay tuned. We will be going back to our breaking news reports on the latest headlines. All right, everyone, have a great day. God bless and stay safe.